Hey there everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're working on the glorious War Hydra kit. I'm going to assemble it all together, and just to give you my first impressions, this is a recent purchase even though the kit's been around forever and ever and ever. You can see we got the updated base here, which is kind of nice. And we're just going to be reviewing just kind of the model itself. So I'd like to take a look at, the sprues, just kind of give you my first initial impressions. I really honestly have not spent a lot of time looking at it, and I thought this would be a great time to do it in front of you guys, which is awesome. Now, part of the benefit of having the Hydra, I'm not going to have the Charybdis in my army just because I like the stats of the Hydra better. I like that it's got a bit of range because you can shoot into combat. It kind of nets out into being more attacks, and then it's got that awesome regenerative ability. So my whole goal with this is to go out there and just cause a big pile of trouble. So anyway, so I'm going to be building the Hydra out of it, even though we'll be looking at the kit that does both. I might even mix up the heads so that I can cheat and say it's one or the other, but I wouldn't do that because that's I'm big on WYSIWYG. I'm super meta, right? So I might actually mix up the heads a little bit, and it'll give some differentiation between the different heads. I'll see what I can do with the kit once we start putting it together. So it comes in 2 big sprues, which is great. There's a whole lot of necks going on here, which is kind of funny, and you can see the different heads kind of popping along. You'll see that the body is here. It's kind of hauled up on some big, huge rock, so we can see the rock components there, which are pretty nice. I'm really liking the fact that it's got that kind of dragon nature with the mantles that are up top here. You can see that we've got different claws that are available. I think they're the same claws. Is there another set of claws? I don't see them. So it's kind of clawing over the rock, but that seems to make kind of the most sense there. You got things like this where you got like hollowed out, wounded eyes, as it's kind of regrown itself back in. Also the kind of the keepers here are pretty cool too. They kind of got the chains out, and they're they got these big kind of goads to kind of get them in there, these huge massive lashes, which of course is now fixed into the rules where they can go out there and they can whip this guy into a charging frenzy, which is pretty neat. Some of the whipping might hurt the little beastie do, so again, having that that regenerative ability is pretty darn cool. Here's the one standing up on the rock here, kind of pushing it along. Again, you can picture this poor thing, kind of raised from a young baby Hydra, kind of forced to go out there and do the damage. I very much think like kind of Rancor in Star Wars. I'm sure there'll be a few jokes as we play along. Really nice. The tail is kind of cool too. Look how big and wide and swept this is. Now on the Charybdis, I think it's got the spiky tail. I don't know if there's an alternate tail here somewhere. Maybe might be this guy here. I'm not really sure. I'll have to kind of see as we assemble it along, but we'll take a good look at it once it's built anyway. But I want you guys to see the sprues just in case you wanted to see what the bits are. I love the heads. There's loads and loads of heads on this guy. And then the other ones are a bit more of like almost like a changing kind of chaosy, spawny kind of, very much the thing, right? With these really cool mouths on them. I'm sure these would make great conversions for dogs or beasts or anything like that as well. So you could do some pretty cool stuff. You'll see these necks here have these big kind of spiky, teethy, kind of tentacly type look to them. That's really cool. I really like the model quite a bit. So I might mix up the heads. I don't know if I'm going to commit sacrilege that way, or maybe even just magnetize the heads. Oh, that's an idea. I'll see what the options are for that as I'm putting it together, but I'm pretty sure I'm primarily going to use it just as a Hydra. It might just be if I want to get buffs and stuff, but I might even just call that the Charybdis anyway. So let me get this guy all kind of assembled up, and I'll be back and give you my impressions. All right, so we've got them all kind of built up here. I'm really liking the fact that it went together so nicely. I think some of the older kind of fantasy models, I don't know, they really just don't go together as well as you'd hope. There's not a lot of seams in here. I think it was very well put together in terms of a kit, and it went together very, very well with a little bit of cement and all that. So that was great. That's number one. I love all the variations. The Charybdis that you get, all the bits and all that, the heads are going to be amazing. Even if you don't use them for here, you can use them for all kinds of beasts or monsters or anything like that. So that's also really, really cool. The posing. Well, I'll get to the posing in a second. So the one thing I'm not a fan of in the model, I can see why after, you know, a bit of discussion and all that, this center claw that's kind of coming out of the chest, I mean, how is this dude gonna walk? Like, maybe it's a third kind of thing to balance off the tail, or, you know, maybe it's, you know, it's a Hydra, it's constantly ever changing, so I can totally see, you know, why it'd be growing a new limb or something like that. So I get it, I can understand it. But this, you know, looks like he's going to go plow a field every time he tries to walk somewhere. So that's the only kind of challenge I thought with the model. Was a little bit rough. The posing isn't exactly the most natural thing in the world, but this is an old fantasy model, so you did have to fit this onto one of those rectangular kind of square chariot bases or monster bases. So I understand why, you know, you'd be a little tight for space, especially when you get the 2 dark elves on the back. Okay, so next up, one of the things I want to look at is the, you know, just kind of the design, the kind of the layout of the model here. So I really like the faces, having all these different heads be kind of distinctive. You wonder what they'll be arguing about, what to listen to next on Spotify, I suppose. I love how you've got some of these, like, you know, kind of battle scars where you can actually have a white eye to kind of draw your eye in there. I love that we've got like this empty socket in here, but the thing is still just kicking. It really shows off its kind of regenerative abilities. So I'm thinking that's really, really cool. The different scales and texture that you get, you can see this kind of wrinkly skin texture up front and these kind of scales at the back. They'll paint up just really, really nicely. We got a bit of that kind of dragon-esque kind of webbing going on between the different spines in the back. I really like that. So all in all, I think the model's a really sweet looking model. I think it'll be great to paint up, and I think it was just awesome to put together to kind of finish it up. Now, the rock outcropping that you have here, it's kind of echoed with our kind of Dark Eldar kind of monster handlers here, and Dark Elf monster handlers here, and you know, you got a little bit of this kind of runic detail that's in here as well. The only thing that's a bit of a bummer about that is it is going to kind of lock you in place as to what you're doing, but you know, it's a monster. It's kind of, you know, I could see it craggling around the mountains and all that, so I don't mind that at all. I think that's pretty cool. With this character, I find she's, you know, pretty static. Again, limited space on those old fantasy bases, so I can see why she'd be kind of, you know, standing up straight there. But one of the things that I do really like is these different whips. So you can actually go in here and have them kind of curve and coil around, and it takes up a lot of kind of visual space and really adds a lot of motion to this. It's a pretty darn static, pretty static model. So I really like that. I think that's pretty cool. And again, you know, fitting her on the back might be a little bit of a, you know, it won't be a challenge necessarily, but you'll have to take care of this, you know, inherent fragility of these whips that are here. Next up is our other handler guy. And you can see that, you know, he's got this interesting kind of, you know, this halberd on a chain to kind of goad him along. This was super easy to put together. Everything went together great. So that I was super grateful for. But again, he's kind of fragile. You know, the design is kind of a little bit ornate. You know, like the big kind of flowing hair really breaks up that kind of static monopose fantasy thing. So how I'm going to set them up on the base essentially is going to be, it's kind of a weird angle, sorry about that. The Hydra was so big, it was a little bit tricky to fit him in. So I'm probably going to set these guys up like this. I've got a little bit more room than the classic fantasy base, which is good. So what I'll do is I'll just have her, whoops, sitting up here. The glue will be needed clearly, and then I'm going to have this guy sitting up here, and the hope will be to have the you know, the whips kind of sheltered a little bit from impacts by the Hydra body and by the base itself. And then my guy with the big goad here, I'm just going to run him so that he's just over the base like this, and that should protect some of the fragile kind of bits and pieces here. So really looking forward to getting them all set up and on the table. Great model, actually. It's a lot of fun, other than that weird, odd little claw on the chest. So that's it for this one, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to getting a painting video out for this guy as well. And yeah, lots of fun. I can't wait to have him on the table, running up, regenerating, eating dudes whole. It's going to be awesome. If you're new, maybe consider subscribing, and then you get notifications of all of our future videos. And if you like it, obviously hit the like. Gets that algorithm on YouTube all fired up and kind of shares out the content of what we got going here. Other than that, guys, thanks a lot for watching this one. Have a great day. day, and we'll see you in the next video.